Today I'm going to start by reflecting on a theatre performance I went to see last night at the Square Chapel in Halifax called Declaration by Sarah Emmott and Rachel Morehouse. It was actually a really powerful performance about Sarah's experiences with ADHD, positive and negative. There was an awful lot that resonated with me from my own experiences. I sat next to one of the staff from Square Chapel, and she asked me a question at the end that I simply couldn't answer. I could answer it, but in the moment I physically couldn't answer. I was choking on my words because of the emotion from the performance, and that says a lot. I guess that's good thumbs up to Sarah and Rachel for what they've produced, and obviously all the other people that have helped them out. So I thought I'd use that as the basis for this particular vlog, and touch on some of the things from that really meant a lot to me. The reason I've started up here is I've been at Dean Clough. It's just gone 2:30 now in the afternoon. I got here about 11 o'clock this morning. I've had two quite lengthy meetings with a couple of people here. One in relation to the history and heritage of the Crossley family, and then the other person I met was from the Northern Broadsides Theatre group, and I've had a quick look inside the Viaduct Theatre, which is somewhere in this building behind me, probably directly behind me if you were walking in a straight line. One of the particularly strong things from last night's performance was around the emotional outbursts in what Sarah described as her red shoes moment, and in the last few weeks that has happened a couple of times in relation to the business stuff. I've had what to any neurotypical person probably seems like a totally unreasonable meltdown simply because of the amount of things going on in my head, my brain wiring's inability to separate them out in the moment, and the fog of tiredness and things basically not being quite how they should be. Usually because I've been trying to do something and I've encountered a problem in completing it, and then I have decided that I'm a complete failure and I'm wasting my time and I shouldn't be on this journey, and who am I kidding anyway. What I normally have happen after that is I go to sleep and have a chat to some people that get me back on the right track, and I'm away again. So apologies to anyone that's ever been on the receiving end of one of those outbursts. Another thing that Sarah covered was this idea of feeling different, ever since she was a kid, which is something that I've gone through until firstly when I got my diagnosis, although that didn't necessarily go smoothly. Sarah covered some of that as well, with the idea of being told it's a long process, and then you have all the doubt and the emotion afterwards about, do I want to know, do I want that label, what does it mean? Then you go and meet some other people that have been diagnosed and realise that you feel completely normal with them, and it's all marvellous and fantastic. But I hear the majority making those with ADHD feel different and like they don't conform. You're imposing on them real self-esteem issues actually, and by being different you can achieve an awful lot, and I think I'm starting to show that. My enterprise visit to Halifax a couple of weeks ago was something I pushed forward because of being different and bold, and it went really well. Hopefully tomorrow the local paper, Halifax Courier, will be publishing a piece on that. And that is why I am desperately trying to get my website up and running. We will see. Hopefully it'll be there, but if it's not, it won't be too many days behind. I've also had some business cards designed now, which will be going out next week at an event being held by my first customer, actually, who I can now reveal because I'm actually wearing the item. It's Andy's Man Club. They very kindly commissioned me as my first customer. I produced badges and 2 different styles of keyring for them, which I delivered about 2 weeks ago, and today they have placed a reorder for one of those designs, slightly modified, and as a result of the amazing work they're doing, and how that means a lot to me. I'm actually going to donate a proportion of the business income to them. It's a bit of a different location in Halifax town centre now, just outside the Halifax Theatre. So Sarah was talking about self-care at one point. She got quite emotional about that, and you could see in her this constant drive that keeps us going forward actually leads us to not really look after ourselves. And I've been saying a lot recently that I need to start focusing on that. I have started doing some meditation the last couple of weeks through the Headspace app, which is actually proving really quite beneficial in helping relax me. But I've just been running around like a nutter today, basically. Which is no different to any other day, but I'm rushing now between my last meetings and going to the bank and going home to pick something up and getting back to the Square Chapel for some more training for my peaceful volunteering. And it is hard on the well-being, really. You get tired, you don't eat properly. I've barely done any exercise for months of any substantive amount. Something that's often referred to with people with ADHD, you know what I mean, ADHD, is this idea of self-medication. So people that get involved in substance misuse is often seen as just having this crazy party lifestyle, but actually what it's covering up is more about the trying to quieten down the brain, trying to deal with this feeling of being different, and people don't realise that. They see somebody perhaps as this fun party person, but it's actually hiding something far more sinister. And as I've said in a previous vlog, that's what happened to me. Luckily, I turned the corner from that. I got some good support and got myself sorted out, but it's always a shadow there in the background, really, that you just wonder whether you might slip back to it. Something else Sarah mentioned about, you know, what if she's never going to be able to be responsible enough to be a mother because of the way she is. Those kind of doubts are another thing that creep in, that I thought was well conveyed in the show. So well done with that, Sarah. Hopefully, by doing all these things we're doing, we might actually help some other people move on and do really great things with their lives, like we are. Woo! I'm back at the Square Chapel again now, where I was last night, just in the new extension. You've got the old wall there behind me. Within this copper box is where declarations performed last night. I've just finished my access and inclusion training for my peaceful volunteering, and I have proof of that fact by the little yellow smiley face, which signifies I get my feedback form in today for young Laura, who isn't appearing again because she's so busy as well. I've actually got, I think in the last 24 hours, 3 referrals for her for what she's doing. Another thing that was said with Sarah that made me smile is that her mum was interviewed and played back on video in the show, and she was saying about how Sarah was one for standing up for what was right, and that's definitely me. Outside the Victoria Theatre, there's something else mentioned in last night's show about letting the mask slip. So I've got a vague recollection that in a much earlier vlog where I talked about ADHD, there was this thing about putting on masks, and as you get older you develop these masks to try and appear normal for the rest of the world, and eventually that will slip because you start to lose control because life gets so complicated. Anyway, and it just made me chuckle as I was walking up here, because one of the things Sarah said almost as soon as I walked into the theatre last night was nice beardage, and she was very jealous about my beautifully maintained face furniture. Anyway, that's a bit of a digression. On the Enterprise thing, something else I've been doing in the last couple of weeks, this last vlog, is having a good sit down and doing a big blast on because I need to get some strategy and some planning together in this business. It's starting to become a bit overwhelming without that. Yesterday I had a good day on that with the business model canvas, lots of coloured little stickers. I really do need to get my financial planning under more control, so my website will not be up and running by tomorrow. Not a cat in hell's chance, basically. Very last thing, Sarah was saying, and the sort of wonder about the future, which I mentioned earlier, being a little bit further along the path than her. It's a polite way of saying longer in the tooth. Because actually it is possible to make some changes. She talked about a few that she's put in place herself, and I also have. One of those was when I did my Applied Enterprise module a couple of weeks ago, and I said about reading and how I didn't read because I found it difficult, and how I felt like I was starting to make that as an excuse. Jacinta, one of the trainers, lent me a book called Maverick. I have pretty much finished that now. I think she probably saw more in it than just lending me the book. But in terms of, it's not only the story, but it's the way it's constructed. There's no more than 2 or 3 pages before you get a break in the narrative, so you can actually just read it in very short bursts. And I haven't actually finished a book for a good couple of years at least, so no more excuses. Find a way, as one of the motivational tracks I listen to says, find a way, and then you just have to get up and find a way. That's the way it is. Alright, I'll try not to leave it so long till next time. But if I do, I do.